Good morning, everybody. Today is all about meal prepping and meal prepping breakfasts.
We're making vegan cinnamon rolls, breakfast cookies, and so much more. Let's meal prep.
I have compiled a list of items that I am going to meal prep for. Now, I found that we kind of struggle with breakfasts, and that's why I am doing what I'm doing right now, is because I wanted to prepare for breakfast for our kiddos. First thing in the morning, they wake up and they're hungry, right? So I want to make sure that they have plenty of breakfast items and options for the morning, and I wanted to make sure that it's nice and what is it called? Like satisfying. I want the breakfast to be wholesome, healthy, of course, and just keeps them full throughout the morning. So today, that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be prepping a bunch of breakfasts. Let's get in the kitchen and let's cook. What is this? Oh, interesting.
Let's start off with some easy prep here. We are just prepping some fruit. We had some pineapples that needed to be eaten and chopped up. So let's get that chopped up into small little pieces. We're going to add this in a Tupperware and we can use it for smoothies or just eat them as is. One of our newest favorites is a pumpkin pie baked oatmeal. You can see that Mercy is having fun playing with the oatmeal.
Isaiah, you're going to work on some potatoes with me.
Our youngest, Isaiah, is also a great cook and he likes to help out with chopping up vegetables. While Isaiah and I are chopping up potatoes for a potato roast, Mercy is going to empty a can of pumpkin puree. We're also going to add 2 cans of coconut milk, and a spill. Adding some vinegar to this. We're going to couple this with baking soda, which helps it rise a little bit. Then we're just going to add a little bit of water here. Add your seasonings like cinnamon and clove. I will have a full recipe of this in the description down below as always, so you can make it yourself at home to feed your hungry family or yourself. And there goes Mercy eating her spilt mess. At least she's cleaning up. The recipe in the description makes 2 batches of 9x9 baking dishes, so you can adjust to whatever you need.
You want me to do it? Or can you do it?
Oh, Jesus. That was so much. One potato?
I had Emmanuel and Isaiah season up our big bowl of potatoes, chopped potatoes. We have some onions and peppers here. We just added some onion powder. You can add garlic powder. We have some Italian seasoning, smoked paprika, and seasoned it up well. Isaiah is also going to be working on rubbing some oil and salt on those potatoes while I mix up this big bowl of hash. For those of you who don't know what hash is, it's basically like country potatoes. It's just chopped up potatoes that you pan fry it in a restaurant, but we're just making such a big batch that I decided to bake it in the oven to make it way faster. We're going to bake it in the oven at 425 convection, and we're also going to put in the sliced potatoes. While everything is baking in the oven, I just had Israel work on some yeast dough that we can use for bread and other things later on. On to our next breakfast, we are making some very simple, delicious breakfast cookies. First things first, we mashed up some bananas and then we're going to add some coconut sugar. Just to sweeten it, you can use agave if you want or maple syrup. We are also going to be adding some almond butter. You can use peanut butter. Of course, Mercy had to snack on some. So after we put this in, we're going to put some vanilla and other things like oats and chocolate chips in a little bit.
Quick check-in, we have some potatoes in the oven. We have a baked potato, which we just halved, salted, and oiled. Then we have a hash that's in there as well with the potatoes. We also have 2 pumpkin pie baked oatmeal sort of thing, also in the oven baking. And then we are working on some almond flour breakfast cookies. And Isaiah is chopping up some walnuts for the cookies as well. Israel worked on a whole batch of bread. We are going to be working on the next batch very soon.
While I was watching this video back and editing this video, I can see that Isaiah has truly developed great cutting skills and chopping skills. Like, his cooking skills have just increased dramatically. I mean, look at how pro he looks at chopping these nuts. I am so proud of him. Of course, just like anything, there's always snacking involved, but that's okay. That's payment for him helping me chop. So we have some almond flour going into this batter here. We are not going to be using any flour. We have some oats going in. We have some walnuts going in. You can really add any fixings you like, some dried fruit or like cranberries or figs. Anything that you want to, just add it in here. It's delicious.
Cookies out.
Oh, I wish we still had the ice cream scoop.
Yeah, what happened in that?
We donated.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Did we?
No, actually, Mercy saw.
We were just discussing that we lost our ice cream scoop and we really wish we still had that ice cream scoop to make our cookies much easier.
All right, we're gonna want some cookies like this. See how big this is?
Yeah.
And then I want you to flatten it. So like this, Mercy.
Like this. Cut it.
And then I just let them go at it, making cookies. This is the second batch of bread that Israel is helping us make. And then the first one is ready to go.
Oh,
I'm going to very simply do some stretch and folds for this bread dough just to make sure that we can develop some of that gluten in here. And it's always just fun to play with a dough ball. After the cookies are formed, I'm just using the back of my spatula to flatten them out nicely. And then we're going to bake it in the oven. We have the oven set to 375 degrees and we're going to cook them for about 15 minutes. Our country potatoes or potato hash, whatever you want to call it, is out of the oven. I wanted to do a quick flip. I wanted to make sure all of the potatoes are nice and crisp. So let's just flip them, put them back in the oven for about 10-15 minutes. Our pumpkin pie baked oatmeal is nice and done. Look how beautiful.
Next thing I want to make is some pinto beans. I'm just going to make sort of a cheesy flavored pinto beans. We are going, it's kind of like a refried beans, but with pinto beans, and it's going to be kind of like that texture. We can use this on like toasts and maybe even just on tortillas, things like that for breakfast. So in this pot, I have some pinto beans that I'm just going to add, and then I'm going to add some water and we're going to boil it up.
And then of course, just season it up with whatever seasonings you have, including some cumin, smoky paprika, ancho chili powder, and salt. We're gonna use a potato masher to just mash it up into kind of a chunky consistency, like a refried bean, but a little bit more chunky. We added some cheesy nutritional yeast just for some added flavor. And just a little bit more water. Mix it up until it is nice and creamy like this with a few beans for texture. And it is ready to put away. Alrighty, the first batch of beautiful golden brown baked breakfast cookies are out. We are going to put them on a rack to cool completely.
Our hash looks absolutely beautiful. We also have some baked potatoes on the back, and these are going to be a great addition to our breakfast this week.
Let's get them transferred into a Tupperware. You can freeze this if you want, or just make them ahead of time. This stores very, very well.
I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. Now this is our Benetton. I haven't shown you how we made our spelt or einkorn sourdough, but we use this Benetton always. But I was thinking, what if we put this dough in here to proof? And then we can sort of make a crusty bowl type of bread or type of loaf. It's gonna look beautiful. I wanted to try it out, so we're just gonna give it a shot. This is so satisfying. I love it. It's so cute. Now we're gonna oil that, Mercy, and then brush it out.
Whoa.
So very basic, we are going to flour the top and the bottom. Let's split it in half. We are going to make a bowl out of one, and we'll make just a loaf out of one. Very roughly, just sort of forming a shape of a dough ball, or just tightening up this dough ball. I found this recipe to be very, very forgiving and very simple, so make sure that you have fun with your dough balls. So we're gonna flour the Benetton. I suggest that you flour it very, very well, because you'll see what happens later. Next, we're gonna very roughly put this dough ball into our loaf pan as well. This loaf pan is the best. We truly love this one. I will have a link in the description for this. It's time for these two to proof one more time. I wanted it to be a little bit more poofy, and you can see the air pockets forming. How cute is this little thing? Make sure when you're proofing dough just to let it sit in a very warm spot. This one is ready to go. We are now doing the Benetton bowl. I floured the parchment paper, and I also floured the top of the bowl. I am going to try to flip it over. I was very, very nervous doing this, as you can see on my face. thinking about it over and over, and I'm just like, let me just do it. So I just dumped it, and guess what? I didn't put enough flour on the top of my bowl, really on the bottom of the bowl where the cloth is. I was so annoyed. It just completely stuck to the top. Yes, the shape is still there, but still, I was just really annoyed. I still try to score it a little bit as best as I can.
Our dough has proved. This is our second batch. We are going to be making a roll, sort of cinnamon bread, cinnamon, what is it called? Cinnamon rolls? Cinnamon roll type of rolls in here. So I'm going to get that started. I'm going to punch down this dough. We're going to make a cinnamony, coconut sugary type of mix, and then we're going to spread it on here. Now I'm just winging it. I don't have a recipe or anything, but in theory, I know I always say that, but in theory, this is how it's supposed to work. So I just got some coconut sugar. We're going to add some cinnamon in here.
Traditionally, you're supposed to use a lot of butter. Well, we don't have butter, so we're going to use some grapeseed oil, a very neutral oil.
All right, we're going to roll this out. Hopefully it doesn't stick. Oh, geez. Something so satisfying about dough that you really don't get this type of texture if you're using like a whole grain spelt flour or einkorn. It's just very different, and so it's always fun for me.
I have split the dough ball a little bit, so we're working in little sections. I'm going to try to roll it as best as I can in a rectangular shape. The cinnamon oil paste type thing that I made actually was pretty good, so we loaded up with a lot of cinnamon. You can add some vanilla if you want to, but we're just going to spread this out as best as we can very evenly on this piece of dough. Now it's time to roll it up. We just try to roll it as best as possible. Nobody's perfect here. This kitchen is not full of pro chefs, but we are here to try our best, and it looks professional to me, shoot. So we are now just cutting it with a little, what is this tool called? A plastic spatula knife type thing, and just arrange it nicely in a big baking tray. Now it's Mercy's turn. Of course, she wanted to give it a shot, so it is her turn to make the next batch. We are doing the exact same thing. Added the cinnamon sugar paste. We are going to roll it up, chop it up, and arrange it nicely on the pan and leave a little bit of room to prove a little bit more. We made a little crunchy topping with some walnuts, a little bit of agave syrup because we ran out of coconut sugar, and some coconut sugar and a little bit more of that oil. We are sprinkling this all over the top of our cinnamon rolls, and we're then just going to bake this in the oven. I baked this at 350, 375 for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. I forgot to mention we did bake the loaves of bread in the oven, and voila, they look beautiful, don't they? Alrighty, most of our breakfasts are ready and done.
Oh my goodness, if you guys can smell the smells of cinnamon rolls in this house. Oh, it is so delicious and warming. Trey came in from outside and he was like, oh, this house smells absolutely delicious, and it does. We have like a minute and a half left for the cinnamon rolls to come out. It's not going to be the most beautiful, I have to tell you that, but it is still going to be absolutely delicious. And check out our bread, our sort of a fail bread that we baked from putting the dough into our, what is it called? The what is that thing called? The Benetton. I lost my train of thought, but the Benetton. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It still looks like a delicious bread though.
The oven called for me to take out these delicious cinnamon rolls. Oh, look at these beauties.
Check out the cinnamon rolls. They smell so good. It looks so good too. Oh!
So stringy.
All right, you guys can have one of the small ones then.
Oh, I need a big one. I'll get one.
This is the biggest one. So good. Ow! It's so good. It's the best cinnamon roll I've ever had.
This is the final result. We have some chopped pineapples, our cinnamon rolls, of course. We have some baked oatmeal. Mercy is here just packaging up our bread. We like to put them in bread bags such as this so it can breathe. And the rest of the cinnamon rolls All right, let's face it, we just couldn't resist, so we are having them right now. The husband is helping the kiddos grab a few and divvying them. Everyone had a generous piece of cinnamon roll.
It is better than school ones.
It is better than the school ones. Did you hear that, guys? I gotta make a recipe for this.
All right, it is Mama's time to try them.
Get the one with the most filling, Mama.
This one was pretty good.
Mama.
Whoa. I always like to open up.
That's what I just did.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. That's good. Wow.
Better than the store ones.
I said school ones.
Yeah.
I'm saying store.
I've never had a store one.
I have.
That tastes delicious. That's good.
You hear that, guys?
You hear that, guys?
Hope you guys enjoyed meal prepping with us today. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys had some inspiration to meal prep your next breakfast meals. Subscribe if you're new, share and like this video if you loved it, and we will see you on the next video.
Wormy.
Bye.
Let us enjoy our cinnamon roll. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Wormy.
You hear that, guys?
Hear that, guys?
I hope you guys enjoy spending time with
Hear
us.
that, guys?
Stop!
That's what Angel said.
I hope you guys enjoy spending time. I hope you guys. Okay.
I hope you guys enjoy spending time with us today.